And we have operators at every one of the water plants that monitors our system. They noticed that we're starting to see a decrease in pressures, or actually in volumes in the tank. So we got staff in, we started driving the roads. We know there's a leak out there and we needed to find it. It took us a while to locate it. It was under a bridge and it was night, so it was difficult to find. But once we located it about midnight. So then immediately went to work on trying to isolate the valves that would contain that leak so that we could bring pressures back up in the rest of the city. It took a while to get that isolation to take place. But once we were able to isolate it, then we started pressuring back up the tanks. So you saw yesterday afternoon, we started really reaching where we had pressures back in the lines. And then overnight, we were able to top off all of those water tanks. Water system is in good shape right now. We've got all of our tanks completely full. The system is full. Right now you're going to see people out opening up hydrants, letting those flow, make sure that we get all the air out. The last thing we want to do is have a hard pressure push with some water and start popping lines because we've got air in those lines. So we're making sure we get that out. We've got people out testing the chlorine residuals to make sure we've got good residuals throughout the system. So as far as the system goes right now, we're in really good shape. Once we started losing pressure in our system and it got fairly low, it became evidence there may be some chloroform growth. So the state of Texas says, hey, you need to issue that within 24 hours because they assume growth is going to take place in that 24-hour period. And that's the TCEQ comes out with these regulations to say, here's what you need to do. We were fairly quick about saying, okay, we are not going to be able to get that pressures back up in a timely manner, so we want to go ahead and issue that boil water notice as quickly as we could, just for the safety of our citizens. But once that happened, once we issued that and then got that line isolated, and then we got those pressures back up, of course we remain under the boil water notice, but those pressures are back up. System's in great shape right now. Now we just need to run those tests and go ahead and get TCEQ happy with those results so that we can rescind that order. So what citizens are going to see right now is you're going to see people out opening up fire hydrants, flushing those lines. And if a citizen, and let me add this, so if a citizen has, hey, maybe they're seeing some dirty water at their home or something, flush those lines. Go ahead and run your faucets for a while. Let that flush out really good. And that'll just clear up, because as that flushes out, as we get those lines cleaned out, we'll get that nice clean water back again. Then we'll be out there. You'll see those testing, getting that air out, because the guys did an amazing job getting the air out of the system so that we don't have more line breaks. We actually have no reports of any line breaks anywhere in the city of Longview from us repressuring up the system. I tell you, when you have a 30-inch water line break like that, that's a significant break. And I tell you, it took engineering staff, it took the staff out in the field to isolate that, to go ahead and get it to where we can go ahead and pressurize up the system. It took employees at the plants, and I'm going to tell you what, every one of those folks, everybody involved in that process has done an amazing job. And we were able to quickly, within 24 hours, really start getting those pressures back up. And that's amazing. They did a fantastic job. They really did.